Okay, so in 1983, I boarded an American Airlines flight to Chicago. That is so fun how God's tapestry links us together in leadership in this company. And Elizabeth and I've had fun talking about Darlene and Chicago, and now Mary Ellen D'Amico, and people that she knew that I knew that Elizabeth and I didn't know each other. So just all of this, just everything. I don't want you guys to miss anything of this big picture and how it's all connects and builds so beautifully. But anyway, as I said this afternoon, I was in a very low place in my life when I boarded the plane and gone back to teaching high school English, and left the 4 children and went to take care of a financial family situation in Chicago because Mike was not well enough to do that. I went straight from school on that Friday, had a long weekend, and I went straight from school with my teaching bag and my papers, and my goal was to get on the plane and sit down and with my sunglasses on, and I hadn't had time to, really do anything for myself, and just grade papers and essays and hope that no one would even speak to me because I didn't feel like talking to anyone. So it was a setup because I got in my seat and my seatmate, like Jay said in my introduction this morning, was a very excited red jacket that was returning from Mary Kay seminar.
Oh boy.
So watch out.
So watch out.
Yeah, really.
So I was on the aisle seat, and there was a middle seat, and she went to the window seat, and I remember being so relieved that she didn't sit down beside me. I didn't know who she was at the time, but I thought, okay, I don't have to. She looks like a nice lady, and she looked wonderful, groomed, looked like she was in her 40s, and I was as well. And I thought, oh yay, she didn't have to talk to anyone. So, anyway, what happened next was I had to get up, and my tote bag that had everything from pencils and essays and matchbox cars of the boys and everything spilled right under her feet. And so, that made a connection. And so she was helping me put my bag back together, and she just was so happy. And don't have enough time to go. We'll fast forward a little bit. But she was so excited. And she started talking to me because she was going back home to Chicago. And I was going to Chicago. And she said, I had the most, you live in Dallas, you're so lucky, it's the best city, oh my goodness, this is so exciting. I've been in Dallas for 3 days, she said, at her convention, never said the word Mary Kay. At her convention, she had lots of fun, there was recognition, there were prizes, there was inspiration, there was encouragement. There was a big stage, and all the red jackets were there, and I am a red jacket. And I thought, how do you be a red jacket? Because I'm an English teacher, I'm not a history major, but I thought, Paul Revere, the red jackets. And I thought, is this woman talking about? And so, not wanting to speak or talk to anyone, I tried to get my essays out and start grading, but I just kept thinking, okay, maybe she's in the clothing industry and she makes red jackets or something. So we had a layover in St. Louis. Was a setup. And she had said a couple of things to me, very friendly, and she wanted to know more about Dallas and everything, and I wasn't going to be rude, I was just being very limited. And she said, would you like to have you want to have a cup of coffee on our way over here? And with our financial situation, I knew how much Newport coffee was, and I think I had $42 for the entire 3 days. And I said, "Oh, thank you so much, but I don't drink coffee. I love coffee." And I said, I knew I couldn't afford that, and that would have been a big splurging. She just had a class, of course, on overcoming objections, right? Which I didn't know at the time. And she said, "Oh, that's okay. You don't have to drink coffee, you can have a Dr. Pepper or something." Or we got together, and I was just absolutely mortified. I really did not want to, but she was so nice and so kind. And she'd already told me that she was a French teacher and had 4 children. I was an English teacher, I had 4 children. And that, and so that just, we had connected on those areas. So anyway, okay, I'm trying to cut this a little bit. So we got together. We spent an hour together, and she told me that she had this amazing part-time opportunity, this amazing job. Well, I was looking for a job, and I had decided when I left Dallas that the best thing I could do would be to address at home, after I got home from school, to address 1,000 envelopes a week or whatever it was, and you got paid for addressing envelopes at home.
Work from home, yeah, that's a scam.
So I was going to do that because retail or whatever, that was $5 an hour, and that made no sense whatsoever. So anyway, of course, she piqued my attention with that. And she said, yes, she said, I just paid cash for my boys, a new set of bunk beds and all that. And so that was the seed planted there. Okay, so I got back on the airplane with a nice little packet of the convention. She said, "I got this at the convention." And she said later, she said, I knew you needed my help. Well, first of all, my skin was so dry, and she had beautiful skin, and my skin was so dry. And my crow's feet were so there. And she said, "I knew you did need my help because honestly, the whole time I was talking to you, you only had mascara on one eye." And I thought, yeah. So we go back to the airplane, and she said, I teach skincare for Mary Kay. I hadn't heard of it. I didn't know. And I thought, wow, she's looking at my skin, and I know what it looks like. And these are the wrong notes that I have, so I'm not going to continue talking from this piece of paper. Okay? But anyway, I did feel happy. I liked her. She was just good, And so she said, "Well, how long are you going to be in Chicago?" And I said, "For 3 days, and it's really going to be a short trip." And she said, "Well, I would love your opinion of some of the products for dry skin." And I thought, well, you know what I thought. I can't even buy enough mascara for 2 eyes, so how am I going to manage that?
Oh my God.
And so, I do wish these were better notes because I didn't know when I was going to say those things. But, so anyway, okay, this is another setup. And she said, "Well, what part of Chicago?" And I told her the apartment complex, and she said, "Oh my goodness, what a blessing. Because I teach school 2 blocks away." Now, do we know how huge the city of Chicago is? I thought, oh dear, how did this happen? And she said, "I've been training for a new level with my company, and I would love your opinion. Go, everything to say because she'd just been super refreshed on it right before she got on the plane. And so, I was shy. We can be shy, but we don't want to be rude. And she said it would help her. And she said, could I call you? And so I agreed that she could call me. And then I thought, I'll deal with that then because I'll know what to say when she calls me. And I will be able to get together with her and she'll understand. And so the next day at 1, she was at my apartment door because that was the time that she suggested would help her the most. So I opened the door and there she was in her red jacket. She was in her red jacket and had her showcase and everything. And we tried the product and really need to fast forward from here, right? So of course I could not purchase the basic skincare set, which was $49.95. That was not possible. I only had $42.35. And so she gave me this wonderful sample packet and everything that you do, and reminded me to open my information packet because I know you're looking for a part-time job. Okay. So all of that was great. 3 months later, she was still following up with me on the samples that she continued to send me, which was very generous, very generous. And the most important product was the extra emollient night cream. And honestly, I don't even know how I stayed in bed at night because I had so much on I didn't slip out of bed with the extra emollient. But you guys, it was just really helping me. And the teachers at school were noticing the difference in my skin. So I'm trying to fast forward, but I have the wrong fast forward situation. So anyway, one of the last times that she called me to follow up, I was starting to feel really bad because I've had so many samples. And I thought, I have to tell her that there's no way that I can come into the company because I don't have $85 plus tax. And she said this sentence that, changed my life. She said, Judy, if you don't have $85 plus tax, please open your packet and you will find a way. Or anyway, her words were beautiful. And so I borrowed $45 from my mom, and I managed to scramble through the grocery money to put back $40 to get the $85. And now let's fast forward to, I read everything. I got my first applause, I read every syllable. And I got, I had the consultant's guide, and I read started reading that, and I made a plan, In the teacher's lounge, I would use every 15 minutes to go to the payphone, any time I had to call and do the things, because I was learning, I was teaching myself. My director was in Chicago, right? And I was in Dallas. So I had not gone to any meetings. I was just reading and read the autobiography. But my belief level was absolutely unshakable because of everything that we know to believe in, with the philosophy, with Mary Kay as the leader, Mary Kay the woman. So I began giving my one-on-one appointments, started with friends and family and one-on-one because I was way too shy to do more than one. So I built 17, I'm trying to make this happen. I built 17 customers that were really good, nice, wonderful customers from my life and my experience. experiences in my volunteer service and my Bible study. And so, on the third appointment, I would say, I just simply said, that's when I started sharing the opportunity. After planting little seeds, I learned to do that. And I could not imagine any reason why not. Why would they not want to be a part of this? So now I was the excited one, talking about the fun and everything, and just everything that we talk about. So what happened from that is that I had 17 people come into the company. My first 17 customers came into the company, but my life was just hugely busy, as I've already hinted to you, just busy. Not much time at all. And so I got a letter. I have to really fast forward. So a couple of months later, I got a letter from the company. This was before we were doing computers, all that. And it said, congratulations on the Mary Kay letterhead. You are the new winner of a Forenza. And I thought, oh, I saw in the Applause magazine, the bumblebees, this must be another little bug pin or something, you know, another little something, a Forenza. So I go into Mike, and you know, he's recovering, and we're, you know, recovering. And he was sitting there, and I said, look, I got this from the company, Mike. I won something from Mary Kay. I won a Forenza. And he said, you won a car? I said, oh, no. He said, a Forenza is an Oldsmobile car. That was the year right before the Red Grand Am. I said, oh my gosh, that's impossible. I don't know how this happened. I'll call the company tomorrow and talk to them about this. You know, I can't be getting a car. And that would have been nice though, because 2 weeks before that, I went out to drive my car to school, and it had been repossessed. And so I said, okay, well, I'll call them. So I get to the teacher's lounge on my break, and I call, and you know how you don't know who to ask for? Yeah. I think that was my cane, don't worry. Okay? And so you don't know who to ask for. So I told the switchboard operator the whole thing. And she was so kind, you know, and she said, let me get you to the fleet department. I said, okay. So we get there, and they tell me, you know, yes. And I said, no, you don't understand. Anyway, fast forward, I ended up with one of the vice presidents, and or someone on sales development staff. And I told him, well, Judy, hello, what's your consultant number? No, in the meantime, Fleet had asked them to take care of it. And they already had some information about me to try to, you know, make sense out of whatever I was saying. And so he said, yes, here's your consultant number. I see that. Congratulations to you and your team. You have won your car. And I said, I don't have a team. And so he's looking at it, you know, and he said, oh, well, Joanne and Nella and Sue, and I said, oh no, those are just my really good customers and my friends, and they didn't see any reason why they wouldn't want to come into the company. And so that's that. He said, you know, I see that you're here in the Dallas area. I'm almost finished. I see you're here in the Dallas area, and so maybe, and I see that you're, you know, would there be a time that you could come by and we could talk about the marketing plan of the company? You know, you can't make things up like this, you guys. This is, I mean, notes or no notes, this is the truth. So anyway, I did do that, and we got that straightened out. And then I got my 17 people together. It was in February, And I got them together and we did Valentine's basket. I said, you guys were a team. We just need 13 more people and we can be a unit. And they said, what in the world is that? So that was, that's my story. And of course I grew a lot. Thank goodness. I grew, I developed, I was much better. I was much better, but that was just 13 months after, after the company. So that was exciting, and thank you for listening.